Imagine waking up tomorrow and making a decision. No food, none, just water. How long until your body turns on itself? How long until those muscles you've built, or at least the ones you were planning to build, become fuel? It's a question that sounds simple, but the answer, it reveals something most people never think about, because when you stop eating, your body doesn't just sit there passively waiting. It makes choices, it prioritizes, and the order in which it decides to sacrifice its own tissues. That's where things get absolutely fascinating, and honestly, a little disturbing. Here's what most people believe. Stop eating, body panics, muscle disappears, as if your biceps are first on the chopping block, like your body's running some kind of chaotic fire sale where everything valuable gets torched immediately. But here's what your high school biology class never told you. Your body isn't stupid. It didn't evolve for millions of years just to eat its most valuable tissue the second you skip a few meals. There's an intelligence here, a survival hierarchy that's been burned into your DNA since before humans even existed. Fat, glycogen, ketones, there's a whole queue, a whole system of backup generators and emergency protocols that kick in before muscle ever becomes part of the equation. Your body knows what it's doing. It's been practicing this routine for longer than civilization has existed. But here's the thing. There is a threshold, a line in the sand. Cross it and something shifts. Your body flips a switch. Suddenly, muscle fibers become fair game. Organs start shrinking, the survival protocol changes from preserve to sacrifice, and the danger, it's not immediate, it's not dramatic, it's invisible, it creeps up on you, and most people walking around right now have absolutely no idea how close or how far they are from that line. But here's the real twist. What happens in the first 72 hours of eating nothing? It might shock you, because your body doesn't start panicking. It starts cleaning house. And what it does next? Well, it changes everything you think you know about starvation. So let's rewind. You've just stopped eating. The clock starts now. What actually happens inside you, hour by hour, as your body realizes food isn't coming? The first 24 hours. Honestly, not much happens on the surface. Maybe you get some hunger pangs, a little irritability around lunchtime. But you've skipped meals before. This feels manageable, almost easy. You might even feel a little proud of yourself, but underneath, chaos is quietly brewing. Your liver is burning through its emergency glucose reserves, glycogen, like a car running on fumes. It's got maybe 12 to 18 hours worth stored up, and it's using every drop to keep your brain happy. Because your brain, it's running the show, and it doesn't negotiate. Now we hit hours, 24 to 72, and this is where most people break. The headaches start rolling in. Brain fog settles over you like a thick blanket. You feel a fatigue that goes bone deep, the kind that makes even lifting your phone feel exhausting. Maybe you get shaky. Maybe your mood swings make you unbearable to be around. If you've ever tried fasting and felt like absolute garbage on day 2 or 3, listen to me. You weren't weak. You were in transition. And transitions are brutal. They always have been. Here's what's happening scientifically. Your brain is a glucose addict. It's been running on sugar your entire life. And now it's screaming, literally screaming at your liver for more. But your liver just ran dry. The tank is empty. And your body? Your body isn't beaten. It's adapting. It's switching fuel systems mid-flight. And that process feels like hell because you're caught between two worlds. The old fuel source is gone. The new one hasn't fully kicked in yet. This is where your body pulls out its backup generator. Think of it like this. Your body has two fuel systems. The first runs on sugar. Fast, easy, burns quick. The second, it runs on fat. Slower to ignite, but it burns longer and cleaner. Around day 2 or 3, your liver starts converting fat into something called ketone bodies. These molecules start flooding into your bloodstream, and your brain, reluctantly at first, like a stubborn child being forced to try a new food, begins accepting this alternative fuel. It's like switching from gasoline to diesel mid-drive. There's grinding, there's sputtering, the engine fights you, but once it finally catches, you're running on a fuel source you've been carrying around your whole life. And here's the thing that blows people's minds. This isn't theory. This isn't some internet guru making stuff up. Researchers have been studying this for decades. George Cahill did landmark starvation research back in the 1970s. There are documented cases of extended water fasts under medical supervision where people went 30, 40, even 70 plus days without food, and their muscles didn't vanish overnight. Their bodies adapted, they switched systems, they survived. Your body isn't fragile, it's ancient, and it has protocols for this that most of us never access. Systems that have been sitting dormant, waiting just in case the food ever stops coming. Okay, so you've survived the crash. You're in ketosis now. Fat is burning. Your brain has accepted its new reality. But here's where things get really interesting. Because what happens next isn't just about survival. It's about something your cells have been waiting to do your entire life. Days 4 through 14. Something strange happens here. Something most people don't expect. The hunger, it often just fades. It doesn't build into this unbearable crescendo. It just quiets down. And mental clarity, it sharpens. Some people report feeling better than they did when they were eating, more focused, more present. There's this strange calm that settles in after the initial storm passes. Here's the paradox that messes with people's heads. You'd expect to feel weaker with every passing day, right? Like you're slowly deflating. Instead, many people describe a surge of energy, a focus they haven't felt in years. It's like someone turned the volume down on all the background noise in their body, and suddenly they can think clearly again. So what's going on? What's happening inside you that makes no sense on the surface? This is where we meet the star of the show, autophagy. The word literally means self-eating. And I know, don't panic. We're not talking about your muscles here. We're talking about cellular garbage. When food stops coming in, your cells stop building and start cleaning. They shift from construction mode to renovation mode. Damaged proteins, dysfunctional mitochondria, those tiny power plants in your cells, accumulated junk that's been piling up for years. Your body starts breaking it down and recycling the parts. Imagine your cells are apartments that haven't been cleaned in years. There's clutter everywhere, broken furniture, stacks of old newspapers. Autophagy is the deep clean, the declutter, the renovation where you finally haul out all the stuff that's been weighing you down. And here's the kicker. It only happens when you stop constantly feeding the system, when you're always eating, always digesting, always building. Your cells never get the signal to clean house. But take away the food, the janitors clock in. And before you think this is some fringe wellness trend, let me anchor this for you. Yoshinori Ohsumi won the Nobel Prize in 2016 for discovering the mechanisms of autophagy. This isn't pseudoscience. This isn't some guy with a blog. This is foundational biology that rewrote our understanding of how cells maintain themselves. Now here's the twist most people miss, the part that answers the question you've probably been asking this whole time. Why doesn't your body just burn muscle? Muscle is protein. Protein is energy. Why wouldn't your body go straight for it? Because your body doesn't want to burn muscle. Muscle is metabolically expensive. It costs energy just to keep it around. But more importantly, it's functional. It's your engine. It's what keeps you moving, hunting, escaping danger. Burning it early would be evolutionary suicide. During deep ketosis, something remarkable happens. Growth hormone levels surge, sometimes by 300 to 500%. Why? One primary reason: to protect muscle tissue while fat is being burned. Your body is literally releasing hormones to tell your muscles, hang on, we're not touching you yet. The biological logic here is stunning. Your ancestors didn't survive famines by immediately burning the muscles they needed to hunt and gather food. They survived by burning stored fat, the energy reserve they'd been building for exactly this moment. So when does muscle actually become fuel? Here's the uncomfortable truth. Muscle breakdown doesn't start at zero. Small amounts of protein are always being broken down and rebuilt. That's normal cellular maintenance. But significant muscle catabolism, the kind that actually wastes you away, that's a late-stage event. And here's what determines it. It's not time, it's body fat percentage. When your fat reserves drop below a critical threshold, roughly 4 to 5% for men, 10 to 12% for women, your body has no choice. The backup generator is empty, muscle becomes the fuel source, and things get dangerous fast. But for someone with average body fat, that threshold could be weeks away, even months away. Your body has more stored energy than you think. It's just been taught to panic at the first sign of hunger. Here's what I'm curious about, though. Have you ever tried extended fasting, even 24, 48, 72 hours? Drop a comment and tell me what you noticed. More energy? Mental clarity? Or did you crash hard on day 2? I genuinely want to hear your story because everyone's experience is a little different. Now you might be thinking, okay, this sounds impressive, but what about the risks? What about the stuff nobody talks about? Let's get into it, because there are some real dangers here and a lot of myths that need to die. First, let's talk about the upsides people don't expect, because there are some genuinely surprising benefits that go way beyond just surviving without food. Mental clarity, for one. The brain runs remarkably well on ketones, better than most people realize. Many people report heightened focus, reduced anxiety, this strange emotional calm that they can't quite explain. It's like the static clears and suddenly you can hear your own thoughts again. Inflammation drops. Without constant digestive processes running in the background, systemic inflammation often decreases. Joint pain that's been nagging you for months? It fades. Skin that's been acting up? It clears. Your body stops spending so much energy breaking down food and managing blood sugar spikes and crashes. And that freed up energy goes toward healing, toward maintenance, toward the stuff it never had time to address before. And here's a big one. Your relationship with hunger changes. Most people discover that hunger comes in waves. It doesn't build forever like some unstoppable force. It rises, peaks, and then falls away. You learn that you can be hungry and still functional. That hunger isn't an emergency. That's incredibly powerful because once you realize that, you stop being controlled by it. Think of it as a recalibration. You start to realize how much of your daily energy was going toward digestion, toward managing those blood sugar spikes and crashes, toward just processing food constantly. Without that noise, your body gets quiet, focused. It's like someone turned off a machine that's been humming in the background your entire life, and suddenly you notice the silence. But let's address the elephant in the room. The number one fear. Won't I lose all my muscle? And honestly, it's a reasonable fear. You've worked hard. Maybe you've spent months or years building strength. The idea of your body cannibalizing that effort is terrifying. I get it, but here's what the data actually shows. Studies on extended fasting show that in individuals with adequate body fat, muscle loss is minimal, especially in the first 2 to 3 weeks. The body is burning 95% fat or more for fuel during deep ketosis. It's protecting the muscle because it knows it'll need that muscle to function when food becomes available again. Now, there's a caveat here. If you're already lean, already low on reserves, the math changes completely. This isn't one size fits all. Context is everything. Someone sitting at 6% body fat doesn't have the same buffer as someone at 20%. But here's what actually sends people to the hospital during extended fasts. And this is the danger most people completely ignore. It's not muscle loss. It's not starvation. It's electrolytes, sodium, potassium, magnesium. When you're not eating, you're not replenishing these minerals. And without them, your heart starts malfunctioning. Your muscles cramp. Your nervous system goes haywire. People end up in emergency rooms, not because they starved, but because their electrolytes crashed and their body couldn't maintain basic functions. And then there's refeeding. After extended fasts, eating too much too fast can trigger something called refeeding syndrome. Your phosphate levels crash. Your organs can fail. It sounds dramatic, but it's real. People have died from eating too aggressively after long fasts. The danger isn't where most people think it is. So how long could someone actually survive on water alone? For an average adult with normal body fat, survival could theoretically extend 30 to 70 days. But let's be very clear about something. Survival and thriving are different things. The point isn't to push limits. The point isn't to see how long you can go. The point is to understand what your body is actually capable of, to understand what it's protecting when you don't eat, to know that you're not as fragile as you've been led to believe. So, what does all of this actually mean for you? Not as some extreme survival experiment, but as someone living a normal life, trying to understand their own biology a little better. Let's zoom out for a second. Because this video isn't really about how long you could survive without food. It's about something deeper. It's about understanding that your body isn't fragile. It's not constantly on the verge of collapse. It's not this delicate machine that breaks down the second you deviate from eating every 3 hours. We live in a world that tells you your metabolism will crash if you skip breakfast. That missing a meal is dangerous. That hunger is an emergency that needs to be solved immediately. But your biology tells a completely different story. Your ancestors endured feast and famine cycles. They went days without food, sometimes weeks. Your body expects periods without food. It has systems specifically designed for this. Entire metabolic pathways that only activate when food isn't available. And when you understand those systems, you stop fearing your own biology. The transformation here isn't really physical. It's mental. It's the freedom from constant anxiety around food. It's the confidence in your body's resilience. It's a completely new relationship with hunger, not as a threat, not as an emergency, but as a signal you can actually negotiate with. You stop being controlled by the clock, by the snack drawer, by the fear that missing lunch will somehow break you. You realize you're stronger than you've been led to believe. Here's the one-liner I want you to walk away with. Your body doesn't eat muscle first. It saves it for last. Because evolution isn't stupid, and neither are you. Fat is the fuel you carry. Muscle is the engine that uses it. Your body knows the difference. It's known it for millions of years. Now let me be very clear about something. This isn't permission to starve yourself into oblivion. Extended fasting without understanding, without electrolyte management, without medical awareness. That's reckless. That's dangerous. But understanding your body, knowing what it's capable of, that's empowerment. That's the difference between fear and freedom. So if this video rewired something in your brain, if you're walking away seeing your body differently, do me a favor. Smash that like button. It helps more than you know. It tells the algorithm that this kind of content matters, and it helps me reach more people who need to hear this. And if you're not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? We go deep on the science of the human body every single week. No fluff, no filler, just the stuff that actually matters. The biology that changes how you see yourself. Know someone who's terrified of missing meals? Someone who thinks fasting will destroy their gains? Send them this video. It might change how they see everything. Your body has survived ice ages, famines, migrations across continents. A missed meal, it's got this, and now so do you.